Alright. We are here with Rakdos the Muscle. One of the last commanders in this set that I am interested in, because some of them are not really even worth playing, but it was obviously bad. But this one seems alright. I've been wanted to make it for a while, so here we are trying to do it. It is a 5 mana 6/5 flying trample. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, you exile the cards from the top of either player's library, so yours or your opponent, and then you get to cast stuff till the end of turn. This itself can sacrifice creatures, but other things can also sacrifice creatures, and it will still see them get sacrificed. So it doesn't have to, it's not tied to its own ability here, which is really nice. But when it sacrifices something, not just like another one of your cards, this gets indestructible till end of turn, and it gets tapped. So it can't, like, swing and do whatever. But you can swing and then sacrifice, so you get an attack and then all that jazz. But, it's mostly just to keep it alive. So how do we exploit this? Well, we can steal our opponent's creatures, and I do love me any excuse to play Goat Nap. So we can active treason a bunch, and then steal creatures and sacrifice our opponent's creatures, which is pretty cool. Seen that before. Witch's Oven is kind of like another way to do that, just like spammable. There's slightly more spammable ways to do it, but I didn't want to run too many because my commander can just sort of do it. I don't anticipate myself doing it more than once a turn anyways. Kind of hard to do that, especially when you want mana to also then cast things that you stole, or from your own deck, if that's what you're wanting to do as well. So we have removal. We have recurring creatures like Phoenix of Ash. Oh, I mean, a lot of the Phoenixes do that. I'm going to be crafting this one. There are more than just these, but I think these are the best ones, and this is probably, of all the ones that I'm willing to run, this one's probably the weakest, but it's still on theme. Not too difficult to, like, do the thing to repeatedly what is essentially the red or the black-red concentrate or harmonize. 4 mana, sacrifice it, draw 3. It's like kind of the same thing. Rekindling Phoenix is probably the best one because I don't have to keep sinking mana into it, right? If I'm sinking mana into a recurring threat, that means I'm also not spending mana on the cards I'm exiling to, gain value. So it's a little hard to get all that value to ooze out of this card here. But it does probably mean I want a lot of mana, and I actually probably want more board wipes. Probably don't want Invoke Despair now that I'm looking at it. This is also a red deck. I do want red. Yeah, this might be hard to run. I think I want, like, Crux of Fate or something, which feels a little bad, actually, but yeah. Nykthos is also a little questionable, especially when I'm stealing my opponent's stuff, right? I don't have a lot of sit-in-play things, really, but if I steal my opponent's stuff a lot, maybe I get, like, a different color of devotion. But then I'm not really using the devotion for anything that crazy. But I think we're still gonna try it. We have the creatures that enter and sack themselves, and then your opponent also sacks something. So those kind of just sort of work with this commander. It's pretty cool. Innocent Blood also kind of works with your commander. And I think that's it. We just got removal, active treasons, edict effects, rankle effects, or other symmetrical edicts, if you will. And yeah, play Rakdos. Maybe get value. Up so far, the past 10 times I've tried to get value from someone's deck, it doesn't work. Well, we won't steal Ulamogs like our opponents will, but we're gonna try it. So let's roll. If I owned every card in the game, I would still lose to it. Be it I think Strike It Rich is just underrepresented because I don't know. I feel like I've got my point across. So turn one, playing 2 lands on turn one is just like the most degenerate thing you can do, and a Strike It Rich is just that. Okay, so I guess I'll get rid of Mind Stone. Feels kind of bad, but so be it. My opponent most likely gets a land from the other half of this. No big deal. We play this. Give ourselves a little cute 2/2 here. I guess I could have gotten rid of Pact's Betrayal as well. Probably would have made sense too. My opponent could play creatures, although that might not even matter anyways. I'll just discard it this way. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, found a way to get rid of it. So swingies, treasure, play my commander, and then surely my opponent has no exile effect. Surely there's no exile for the trillionth time. Just hard, boring removal. Ragavan is a weird draw. I don't know how I feel about that one. Guess I'll dash it. Swingies. Alright, we're just getting in there. We're just getting in there. I didn't hit anything, and I have no reason to make a move. So I won't. Look at that. Opponent made no... Alright, yep, my opponent just didn't do anything either. The big miss, if you will. The big miss. Okay, Thoughtseize. It is time for you to take their one and only ramp spell. They do not have a ramp spell. I am a bit confused. My opponent's hand is actually really bad. I guess I'll take the Nissa. I don't even care about this. I don't even care about this. Knock yourself out. It hit one land. Yeah, I don't care about that. Yep, I don't even care to kill it. Do I kill this? Maybe I do. No. It's just one land. The turtle already, like, does all that jazz. Rune Carved Obelisk? Well, that's the first time I've ever seen it. It is just another one of those cards. I have no problem with it. I like it. I haven't actually perused the entire set. I just looked at the commanders in it. And I kind of like that card, so yeah, why not? So I can play this, and then this, but then I can't kill this, and I need to... So. Do I care about the Gitrog monster? Kinda. I would like some... Another reason to not kill or discard this is I can actually steal it and do something with my actual commander, which is pretty useful. Okay, well there's no Field of Dead anymore, so this isn't the worst thing. Cavernous Souls doesn't do anything. Actually, what do they get? Just 2 fetch lands. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so play my commander, steal your thing with stuff, and I can use it to cast a tutor. Do I do that instead? Oh, wait, no, it's the same. Never mind. Again, this doesn't care. It doesn't see... It doesn't care how you sacrifice it. Doesn't care. Alright, 2 lands. No surprise there. Shieldred is pretty useful. Virtue can be useful. Rekindling Phoenix, Black Market. I have a lot of good hits here. You know what? I'm just going to take something I haven't been able to use yet. Oh, that just feels like a terrible idea. Fine, I'll just take the Grave Pact and be safe. I think hiding behind this makes a lot of sense, so... I'll just hide behind it. Grave Pact can shut down a fair amount of what my opponent can do. My opponent has a lot of lands to do degeneracy with, though, but they are sort of out of gas. Well, I mean, are they ever truly out of gas? It is a Gitrog monster land deck. Who knows? Maybe they won't draw anything. I don't know. Grave Pact can be very useful, though, as long as my opponent doesn't have casualties of war. Don't mill a land. No milling land. Alright, they did not mill a land. Huge. Okay, not too upset at all about that. That's fine. That is a-okay. Alright, so I'm always playing this. And then... just recast this. So if they kill my commander, theirs dies too. Love it. I think we love it. I don't know. Maybe we don't. Love to see 2 lands. Love to see this, I think. Yep. I'm not really utilizing mine, and there's... Maybe I didn't want to do that. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't want to do that. Yeah, probably didn't. I'm never shutting off Gitrog Monster, so it probably just didn't really do much for me to do that. Okay, so play you... then you, then this. Yeah, this doesn't feel too good here. So I can't reanimate anything that's super relevant. I mean, this is kind of cool. Nothing in my graveyard, right? Yeah. Okay, Lotus Cobra. I mean, that doesn't matter unless they really need the mana. And they don't really need the mana, so... But we are just straight up losing in a, like, head-to-head here. When we're both in top deck mode, my opponent's deck is better than mine. In kind of every way. Okay, now we just lose next turn. Probably. I don't think I get Saga counters anymore. I do not. I can steal Vorinclex. Does that matter? Because it's better than not stealing Vorinclex, right? I will swing with it. I assume my opponent will block it. They do not block it. I feel like it was free to block it. They probably wanted to block it. But they didn't. And I guess I'll steal from my opponent because it's what I chose to do. Okay, so let's play land. Guess that one's better. And then this. And then untap a land. Turn it into a 5/5. And play Goose with it? I guess I do play Goose with it, actually. The 5/5 is basically the same when it blocks this. Because it, yeah, because the Grave Pact makes it so it's the same. It also gives me a creature in play that might matter. I don't know. The Grave Pact really needs to shut down their board presence, which is the big thing that I just want to, excuse me, prevent. Okay, they found another land. They can blow up my, or, well, their own castle, Lockbane, actually. Go get a swamp or a mountain. Let's get a mountain, play it safe. Might get mana screws or something. Yep. It's only a matter of time for they draw, like, something. My opponent's halfway through their deck, and we are not even close to playing halfway through our deck. Ultimating Nissa is also not really even all that useful. It's better than probably the alternative, making 5/5s. The -3 doesn't actually do anything either, so... I can pick up the Hedron Archive, I suppose. Wait, what? Oh, sure. Yep. I got confused for a second. You'll have to excuse me, I am old. Sure, yep, you got it. They make a giant, scary land, right? One giant, massive land, but it does not have trample. We do lose Nissa with this play, though, but that's probably fine. I mean, just fire up a land, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I would not even swing it. I would probably not swing at Nissa here. Probably not swing at it. I'd probably just go face. I don't even care about the Nissa ultimate. I probably wouldn't even ultimate it. I actually have no idea what I do with it. I think pushing 6 to face is actually quite useful here. I might as well sacrifice the Goose. It's gonna die anyways, right? What was my opponent's top card? Oh, it was a Putrefy. Oh, that's actually kind of useful. If only I could sacrifice multiple things. Oh, wow! They gave up! They gave up! No way! Yeah, so I guess I was right to say that Grave Pact was really good there. That was probably the game... Like, that was the crucial moment in this game, was deciding what to tutor for. Grave Pact makes it profoundly difficult for them to actually ever swing and kill me. I think my opponent gets to see this card. I don't think this is hidden. Yeah, this is... They know about this, so... Next turn, I untap, I swing for, whatever, 11, and then I putrefy one of these and sacrifice the 5/5 to Rakdos. And they lose both their creatures. They whiff on the discard here, but then I get to reanimate something relevant. Kind of anything is fine. I don't think I'd go for the Nissa, probably like the Provisioner. So I get more triggers here, and then more triggers here, because of that, in reanimating. But yeah, this was This was really good. And actually, if I targeted myself and my opponent got putrefied, this would have been really bad for me. So my opponent had quite literally a phenomenal draw here. And they were going to draw it this turn, I think. No, this triggers on upkeep, so they would not have seen this on my turn cycle. It would have went to them before they would have seen it. But whatever. Sometimes it happens. Blood Crypt. Oh, I forgot to put the Surveil land in here. Whoops. Guess I'll put that in a second. Well, nothing but mana dorks. I don't think I'm going to abrade that. I think I'm just going to cast Rankle. I think? Yeah. And it's pretty easy to discard a Phoenix, so I'll just do that. Oh shoot, I should have exiled I should have discarded the other one. Oh well. Whoops. It's fine. Wait, you didn't take the active treason. You fool. Haha. Yep, get rid of that. Alright, Phoenix, do things. Do things. Okay. That's kind of stupid, but I guess I'll play this. It's like the worst case scenario. I would love to abrade this, but now I can't. Okay, maybe I wouldn't love to abrade it now that they had just done that. Do I just play my commander? I don't see why I don't. Mine is scarier. Of course. Do we also have a land to go with it? Oh, they played a land first, so maybe not. Okay, never mind. They just have 2 lands to go with it. Silly me. Why not? I really need a land here. Okay, I did draw a land. So, I want to play a Braid on this. And Molten Collapse on their commander. And try to kill them in 3 attacks. Alright, so they need to draw or have an answer right now. Okay, sure. It's not looking like an answer is going to show up here. It's only at 4 mana. 5 mana. 6 mana. 5 mana. Wandering Emperor? Can I play this first? Sure. I guess I'll steal from my opponent's deck. So, there's nothing I can... This is actually really, really, really good. Is it better than... Like, if I fire this up, Wandering Emperor still kills me. This doesn't make Wandering Emperor uncastable. Does it? It does. This makes Wandering Emperor literally uncastable. Okay, so that's out of the question. So now I'm fine just firing this up. Yep. Alright, now there's no card in the game that saves them. Nice. Look at that. They actually had an answer, too. They actually had an answer. It was the Swords of Plowshares. But, yeah, as we played it, we navigated around Wandering Emperor. It's kind of weird if they did run Wandering Emperor in this deck. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. But, yeah, Swords of Plowshares doesn't save them. There are certain avenues where it would, but just this wasn't one of them. And they also weren't actually drawing anything that would have mattered. Hullbreaker wasn't going to do anything, and neither was Redain, actually, so nice. Look at that. That was a actually pretty back and forth game. I feel like that doesn't actually happen anymore. I actually played Magic with my opponent, and we weren't just two ships sailing in the night. Alright, well, we both like to sacrifice things. Our opponent is a little bit more established and also has green, so we're already losing. Grave Pact can even the playing field, though. I was going to play Mountain. Can just get a basic swamp and crack this on my opponent's turn like a fancy person. Oni Coat Anvil. Oh no. Alright, so I really want another swamp. I don't think I have anything to do next turn unless I draw a swamp. Alright, that was a perfectly fine draw, though. This can sacrifice itself, if that matters. If that matters. Alright, that is not good for us. Hopefully it just finds a land, though. It didn't find a land at all. Alright, so I'd prefer to play this before my commander, especially when there's nothing in play to actually, like, sacrifice. It just makes sense to me. So I do have the Grave Pact Forge thing going, but my opponent doesn't necessarily have to play a board state in the face of it. They also could have just found, like, a Maelstrom Pulse. There's a lot of green-style answers to what I've just done here. Let's see. Play my commander now? No. Maybe I should. My opponent is going on to their next turn. I'm going to swing with this. This will sacrifice the 1/1 for my opponent. And then... yeah, that's not really exciting. Alright. I guess that's all I'm doing. Which is not exciting. But if I can stop my opponent from playing their commander, I guess there's a reason. There's merit to it. Okay, I guess I cannot stop my opponent from doing that. But what I can do is do this. Okay. There's no reason to swing or cast a removal spell here, because it's gonna die anyways. It does mean they just block for free, but it's just better than not doing that. Alright, we did it. My opponent's under the back foot with the Grave Pact. This is actually, I think, one of the first times Grave Pact actually did something. Now, it never actually made my opponent sacrifice anything but a 1-1, but it still exists and is very difficult to deal with. If they don't have an answer to it currently, it's going to sit here and make their life miserable. And we have a pretty solid way of harassing our opponent moving forward, too. Black market connections means I'm not really going to run out of gas, excuse me, until the game is completely over, too. But, yep, no surprise there that, yet again, the green color is the strongest one. We're both black-red, but they have green, and the green was better than everything else we were doing. It's funny. But it didn't matter. We got through it anyways. Good old Grave Pact actually doing something. Alright, speaking of green. Speaking of green. I kind of actually sort of like this hand, especially with a lightning bolt. I will not lose to the strongest card in the game. Alright, they do not have the strongest card in the game. Look at that, lucky us. I named green because my brain is dumb, but I shouldn't be punished. I kind of have all the colors anyways. That was obviously a mistake, though. Whoops. I done did the wrong color. Am I punished? No, I have all the colors I need. Everything is fine. Literally everything is fine. Everything has never been more fine than it is right now. Alright, well, I guess I'll lightning bolt this. I don't see why not. There's almost no reason to Inquisition. My opponent's just going to cast Foreign Klex. I kill it, and then Inquisition next turn. Unless my opponent's playing Poison or Plummet. Do we have the fancy land? Opponent does. They have the fancy land. Wise beyond their years. This was a phenomenal draw. This was phenomenal here. Okay. I don't even know. Do I look at my? I think I just target my opponent. I think I'm just gonna target my opponent. It feels spicier. Maybe I hit a Lamog or something weird. Alright, we now know there's no Crater Hoof showing up at any point in this game. Naming green on the Cold Steel Heart actually... Oh, wait, never mind. You can use any color to cast these cards. I got excited. I thought my mistake paid off, but no, you can just use any color you want to do that. My opponent has Platinum Angel? What? No way. Oh, that's deep. Oh, that's so deep. It touches me deeply. I love it. I love it. That's hilarious. What does this do? Do I care? Nope, not really. Wait, maybe I do. Saw the top cards, library, blah, 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 blah. Alright. It's kind of annoying. Well, nothing else my opponent did was all that annoying. I don't think my opponent's going to block, but I'm obviously going to swing anyways. I make a treasure, right? Oh, wait, never mind. That's not how that works. Alright, I'm going to steal from my opponent's deck again. Oh, hello! Oh, I can't play it, though. Shoot. Alright, doesn't matter. Opponent's done. Oh, nice. Oh, how does it feel to get out-greened by the black-red deck? Look at that. I even have a forest in play. Clearly, I'm Jund, right? I even named green subconsciously. Alright, well, that's pretty good. The first thing I did right after adding the Surveillant into my deck was milling Kroxa turn 1. What are we doing, opponent? You got 1 mana. Apparently that means stone cold nothing. Do I play Ornithopter or do I play Mayhem Devil? I guess I play Ornithopter. I won't miss it. I think it's just better. If it died or something. Playing Gilded Lotus next turn probably too, and then I can play this to kill whatever. That is not a mana dork, but first card my opponent played is green. Surprise. I don't like to see this though. I would have loved it to be a mana dork for this card here. This is one color, so I can't use it to cast Mayhem Devil. I don't think I want to cast... I have a few options here. I really think my best option is playing Gilded Lotus and pulling ahead mana-wise. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, I mean, I can still cast this, because I have the Ornithopter. I didn't expect this to live. I don't know why. I just anticipated it dying. Just figured it would die. So yeah, this is just better then. Alright, they play, what is it, a second land? Of course it's a cracked land. Oh, look at that. I got to hose their thing. Look at that. I don't know how useful that is, but now I get to kill their commander. Alright, this went from, like, questionable to really, really good. Yep, play this, play this. Steal from my opponent to stay on theme. I got a Llanowar Elves. Alright, not really the greatest thing to hit there, but that's what I hit nonetheless. I hit the green Ragavan. Why am I complaining? I hit the green Ragavan. I can't be mad at that, right? It's the green Ragavan that actually doesn't have to hit you. It's probably better. It's probably better than Ragavan. You need Farewell. Alright, so they're going to tutor for Farewell. Probably. Makes sense to me. Don't know what else they would do. Yep, so I anticipate everything to die next turn, so I should just, and by everything, I mean quite literally everything. It's probably still better to not fire up the Guardian Idol. I'm just gonna swing like this. Sack the, Mayhem Devil, because again, the only thing that makes sense is Farewell. It doesn't make sense for Thalia to play Farewell, but they're playing against me, so they obviously are playing Farewell. Alright, I would say this is a good hit, but again, it's just going to die. Let's take Phyrexian Tower and Castle Lochbane. And let's play this land on... doesn't matter. Oh, green's better, so... And then... I mean, I could have taken the fetch land, actually. Yeah, I probably should have taken the fetch land. Okay, just making sure there's nothing else to do. So I can exile 6 cards from their deck, but then I can't do anything else. And I do have access to those cards on my turn. Oh, look, it's the dung card that I just said. That probably doesn't make any sense in Thalia. Oh, I got a Mana Tithe! Oh, but they played a land first. Could you imagine I Mana Tithe this? Could you imagine I actually Mana Tithe that? Could you actually imagine? Could you imagine? That would be... hilarious if I successfully did that. That would be hilarious. Alright, so play Besaid. Actually, no, we can play this. Riveteer's Outlook. Some Treasures. This one. Play you. Is there any reason to play anything else? No, I think it makes more... Well, I can play this... play the land out of my hand. Yeah, because I'm losing access to this. I might as well. This makes a treasure, and then it's the same mana, so I can cast my commander still. Alright. There we go. Okay. Got confused for a second. Alright, well, this is the turn post-farewell. I can't really complain. Oh hey, I get a treasure too. Thank you. Look at that. Someone's looking out for me. I stole a Bolas's Citadel. I don't think that matters. But it gives me more access to things. I mean, it could matter. Yeah, actually, maybe it does matter. Shield Druid. That doesn't save you. Yes, it does. Does it? Yes. Okay. Rankle. Alright, it no longer saves them. Okay, so... It's hard to talk about this one. It's a very strange commander. It is not the worst commander in the set, and it is... It's still below average. Like, you... Okay, we played for basically 2 hours. I played a little before I streamed, so it was about 2 hours, right? I played like 15 minutes before I streamed, and streamed for like almost 2 hours, so... I would say this doesn't work. Like, it's on the cusp of being functional, but it doesn't really function too well, at least how I designed it. There's obviously countless ways to build your deck. The mana rocks allow you to sacrifice things and still reasonably cast things, right? Like, if you just steal things and you're on 6 mana, you spend 3 of your mana to cast a creature. Like, let's just assume all of my mana rocks were creatures instead, right? So I have things to more consistently actually sacrifice. That means I spent 4 mana, then I sacrifice it, then I, like, get 2 or 3 mana to actually cast stolen spells, and that's not really that ideal. You can sacrifice on your opponent's turn, so you'll untap when it gets back to you, and then you'll have more mana to cast said stolen turns. But that puts you in a weird... Like, you're sort of giving your opponent the tempo back. Well, where tempo falls more into your... The Geiger counter leads towards your opponent in the tempo field because you're not casting the spells, you're stealing the turn you did. It's the turn you stole them. It's the next turn when it goes back to you. Your opponent can't necessarily interact with those cards. They can't, like, discard them, but they'll know about them. And it's a little weird, in my opinion, to kind of operate in that way. And I don't think it doesn't even lead this to a unique commander, because there's other ones that sort of do that thing a little bit better. I couldn't think of an example off the top of my head, but I know I've played commanders that sort of want to do that creature value thing, and I think this has a potential to sort of not do that and do something more unique. And it sort of does. The active treason sacrifice thing isn't new, but there's not a ton of commanders that really do that. And it's kind of cool to just always try to goat nap your opponent's stuff. There's plenty of decks where your opponents do not have a bunch of creatures, which we, bumped into a lot. I bumped into a lot of control decks, which don't have a lot of creatures, so the active treasons are kind of dead, and so is actually most of your removal spells. And then they can just hide behind their removal and counter spells, killing basically just Rakdos, and then you lose because you don't really have a backup plan at all. You're kind of creature dependent. And creature dependent on your opponent's side as well, right? Even if I wasn't playing active treasons, it feels like I want my opponent to be more creature centric. And not a lot of decks really are. And the ones that are don't really care about this because they're green. And if it wasn't green, it's fine. Like, Animar, red, white, or even Feather is actually... No, Feather would probably be miserable. But there's like a fair amount of non-green creature decks that are like, I wouldn't mind seeing them. But you don't really ever do. And because of that, there's certain strategies that don't have any favorable matchups. So you're all at, like, either 50-50 or, in this case, in a lot of cases, below 50-50 to, like, win any given matchup. It's hard. It's incredibly hard to beat a Grixis control deck that doesn't have any creatures. And it's very difficult or it's not as difficult, but it is pretty difficult to beat green decks that do play creatures, because a lot of their creatures are like mana dorks, and then they... Like, I automatically lose if someone plays a turn 1 Arboreal Grazer. I can't really keep up with that. There's not really much in the way of coming back from that. Like, same with Utopia Sprawl. That's the other one. Utopia Sprawl, Arboreal Grazer, the green Kami, and I think there's a fourth one. Willow Haven is not turn 1, so that's like debatable. But the 1 mana ramp spells that you cannot kill, like Llanowar Elves, are just they're so bad to see that I probably don't even like Fatal Push and Cut Down anymore because they don't even play their role as answering ramp spells on turn 1. They can't do this anymore because of Utopia Sprawl and Kami and Arboreal Grazer. Those 3 cards are very, very significant. They're more significant right now than they've ever been. We got a new set, the Alchemy set, too. Those 3 cards are insane. They kind of just push out a lot of things you probably want to do. They jump your win percentage by like 10 to 15%, probably more than that, but I don't really actually know, so I'm gonna lowball it. But those cards you cannot interact with. Like, we need Feed the Swarm, so I can blow up Utopia Sprawl. Like, you just need Feed the Swarm. I don't even know if I like Cut Down. It's just you need Feed the Swarm, or you just concede. Right? That's what I started doing. It was like an hour into this, I just started conceding to turn 1 Utopia Sprawls. It happened to me disproportionately relative to, a usual play session. I did get Utopia Sprawls and Arboreal Grazered a lot relative to a normal set of 2 hours of Magic. But every time it happened, boy, did I not feel like I was winning that game. The green Kami sounds like the Cold War propaganda. Yeah. The green Kami. No, it would be the red Kami, wouldn't it? The green Kami's like cow farts or something. I don't know. But anyways, it just doesn't play nicely into the green ramp strategies, and it doesn't play nicely into the creatureless control strategies. And there's a lot of those things, right? Like, you want to play against kind of like the mirror, right? I know that kind of leads to like a 50-50 game or whatever, but at least you're like going back and forth and you're interacting with your opponent, you're playing Magic, and Mark Rosewater intended, blah blah blah. Like, you're playing like kind of a more interactive game, and I did have some pretty cool ones in there, but you got to play a lot to find those. There was even a couple mono blue decks that didn't even have a commander. Like, they just had like a random blue card I've never heard of just sitting in the command zone, and they cast a counterspell every single turn, and I lost. There was nothing I could do. Right? I can run more discard. I think I probably would run discard over these two. Yeah, that just makes sense here, I think. So, like, Duress is way more relevant now than ever, especially not only hitting counterspells and removal, it is actually pretty impactful to also hit ramp spells, and it didn't used to be like that, but now it does. Same with Inquisition. There was a time when I said Inquisition was not good. I don't think we're in that world anymore. I think Inquisition is totally solid because 1s and 2s and some 3s, mostly actually 1s and 2s, are pretty significant to take, where they used to not necessarily be the biggest deal, but now they do feel way more relevant. Actually, you can see my deck here, like how much of my deck could actually get hit by Inquisition. It didn't necessarily always look like this. And now it does, right? This is the only cards that can't get hit by Inquisition right here. And I don't even know if Inquisition would care about most of these. But talking more about the commander specifically, the Phoenixes are really cool. I didn't get Rekindling Phoenix ever, which would have been awesome, but I just never got that. It was a little hard to sacrifice my own creatures. I'm not running too many of them anyways. These sacrifice themselves. You don't obviously want to sacrifice them in response to their own trigger, because then you'd sacrifice 2 creatures and probably lose your commander. But every time these are happening, they come with stealing 3 cards from your opponent, because again, this does not have to sacrifice it for you to get the top part of the text. It doesn't care how you sacrifice the card. If it did, this would be terrible. I couldn't run any of these, and this is only once per turn, so like, not only was this deck not good, it would be even worse. That would be unfortunate. Claim the Firstborn is not active treason. It's not goat nap. Stealing mana dorks is only good if you can really sacrifice them. And you can't really do that because this costs 5. That's another issue with this commander, is it costs 5. I would much prefer this to be like a 4 mana 5/4 or something. I think that would be fine. 4 mana 5/4, just like lower the stats. This at 5 means you're being outramped by everything green, and by the time you get to it, you're always under counterspells. You cannot outrace counterspells. It's impossible. You can play other creatures, 1, 2, and 3, and pressure your opponent so then they have to interact with your board, and then you can cast it when they're like tapped out on your turn or whatever. But as it stood, trying to cast this with a bunch of mana and also utilize the value from his actual effect, justifying it in the first place, in my opinion, you can't really do that. So it's a little rough. It's actually incredibly rough. I did not get many Croxa games, which kind of sucks. Maybe you could run Final Parting, Gristleberry, and Reanimate. Just like that package seems to always be good if you're playing black at this point. Reanimate in general is also pretty solid. Maybe I wanted to run Reanimate. I just didn't put it in here. But fortunately, I did get some pretty good Grave Pact games, which I can't really say has ever happened. Which were also pretty creature light. Only at 15. It's like pretty creature light on our end, and this still was the most relevant Grave Pact had ever been, which is cool. I don't know if this is the best Grave Pact deck, though. I mean, there's obviously ones that have way more creatures than this, and always would love this sitting in play, but as it stood, this is the best I've ever seen it. Just anecdotal, though. The mana, the lands are fine. I don't know. I don't think you want to play any tapped lands. We're not really using man lands in any meaningful sense. Man lands have mana cost of 0, so you can't trigger your opponent. You can't trigger your commander, other than making it indestructible. I don't know how relevant that was. Another issue about being indestructible is it does not answer any bounce spells, counter spells, or exile effects. There were also a large margin of exile out of black decks today, which is not normally what happens, but it did happen a lot to me here. It was disproportionate with its Arboreal Grazers and Utopia Sprawls, as it was disproportionate with exile effects outside of Swords to Plowshares. There was a lot of black exile spells, which felt terrible. But that's where it is, right? That's what you gotta sometimes expect. Mayhem Devil also doesn't really do that much, actually. Sacrificing one creature just to do 1 damage. I don't really think this is a Mayhem Devil deck. I just kind of put it in here to stay on theme. But I don't even make a lot of treasures to spam ping, so I really just don't think Mayhem Devil's that good. It does kill 1-drops, but you also need to quite literally sacrifice something to kill 1 toughness creatures, like Linear Elves. But by the time this would kill Linear Elves already did his job, so I don't think that should have belonged in here. I don't know what I'm going to end up adding, but I mean, you'll see when I post a list, but I'm done ranting. I don't think I can recommend this one, which is unfortunate, but it's still kind of cool in what it's doing. I do like what it does, right? I think it's cool. It just doesn't really beat most of what you expect to bump into. So, let me know what you thought about the list. If you have ideas to make Rakdos more betterer or less worserer, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.